Good morning. We've got a couple of seed deliveries lined up today. Trailer's all loaded up. Customer just texted me, said he's around and ready when we are, so let's go. We gotta stop at the farm and get some def. It was a load of grain and a load of seed. Basically every load of seed I've hauled out, he's held out at least that many loads of corn or wheat or beans or whatever. Anyway, we got our def tank filled up. Well, let's go make this delivery. No, that's not a lake. That's gonna be a cornfield this year. So is that. That's wheat stubble. Yeah, it's a little wet around here. All right, so we made it back. We're gonna come down and get loaded up again for this afternoon's run in a little while, but we can't be to that guy's place until 3:30, and it's 11 now, so we've got lots of time. That guy texted me he's coming to pick up his disc ripper. He was planning at noon, and now he said 11:15, so we're gonna go down there and be ready for when he gets here. So I've got a little bit of some computer work that I could take care of. Brock made most of our scripts. I could do a few more. Although he was, I think, going to come today. He might be there in time too. We need to get our four-wheeler, our ATV, serviced. Dad was thinking about using it next week to do some spraying, so he's going to work on that. I could have him finish some scripts this afternoon, but I need to get some work planner stuff done, and we need to get the data off of the bean planter, or the monitor in the bean planting tractor, that 2630 that we used when we planted beans, because we couldn't use our G5, and so it doesn't have the MTG hooked up to the monitor to get the data off. It's a whole ordeal, but we need to do that manually, USB stick. So might work on that this morning or early afternoon until we can leave. I'm gonna get our data off this display here, and I brought the G5 back out. We need to get that reinstalled in here and connect it to the JD Link and see if it works yet. See if the dealer got our subscription activated. They should have by now, but we'll see. All right, well, I put that display back in here. It still shows as not having a auto track activation. We probably need to take it outside. I'm not gonna mess with it right now because we gotta move that seed tender out of here, which we need to do anyway, but we'll get to it. I did get this out of here though, and I got the data off of it on a jump drive in my hand that if I show you, I'll drop the very expensive display, so we're not gonna do that. It's gonna be a couple weeks before we need it anyway. It's super wet, not likely to dry out anytime soon, so you know, it's not the end of the world. Well, we got time. We'll get it working before we need it. There it goes. Got the disc ripper sold and out of here, so it's going up north of Lansing. All right. Well, Brock's got our ATV up here. We don't use this a ton, but sometimes we do use it, and when we need it, and Dad wants to do some spraying with it next week, so we're going to get it fixed up and ready to go. Phil seemed to think there was a U-joint or something out somewhere on a front axle. We need to check it out. I don't know why or what or anything, but we're going to figure that out. So also probably needs an oil change, needs the rest of the fluids checked and topped off, and I think maybe we've got something in our air filter, or maybe it's just dirty. I don't know. Some days it didn't seem to run real good. Looks okay in there, but anyway, we're gonna get this fixed up. Tony's here loading up that plot seed, getting it put on his trailer and taking it, so just checking on him. Brock's gonna work on changing that oil. I'm gonna run to town and get some oil and some lunch and a filter if I can find one. Hopefully, that's the goal. We'll see. Anyway, check in later. Okay, Brock is tearing this thing apart. We're gonna change oil and maybe spark plugs and air filter and that kind of stuff. I gave him a camera. There you go. That's where I left off, Brock.
All right. So Nathan left to get filters and stuff like that. He doesn't know what fuel filter to get or oil filter to get yet, so I need to take this one off before he gets to wherever he's going. But the oil's about done draining, and the oil filter's, I don't know if you see it, right there. It's dirty. It's not really any great way of getting it off. There's a hole in the bottom to get it down out of, but we gotta get it loose first. But that's what we're gonna be working on now. We'll get it. So as Nathan was saying, this was running rough. I drove it from the back shed up to here and it didn't want to start. So I was looking through the book and it has, you know, if it's running rough, it could be this, or this. Low voltage was one of them. So I got the old multimeter out here and see if we can do this. Put that in there, negative, and it reads 12.53 volts. So it's not the battery, which I didn't think it was, but we have the cover off, might as well check it. So spark plugs was another thing, which we're getting new ones, so we'll see if that's the problem. And the throttle positioning sensor system, whatever, was another thing, which that almost makes sense because the code for stuck throttle is on. So we looked that up in the book and it's the code. I don't know why I mean, it's not stuck in any means, but it's what it says. So I don't know. So another thing we're doing is checking all the fluids in the transmission, the rear axle and the front axle. So that right down there is the plug to check the level. I took it out and didn't see any oil coming out of it. So we had just a little bit left from the last time we did a full service on it and put it in, and now it's full. So that worked out pretty well. Empty can, get rid of it, but we got it topped off. So now on to the next one. So I checked over all the fluids on this, the front crankcase, the back crankcase, or axle, whatever you want to call them. Transmission, the oil's draining, don't have an oil filter yet. Nathan's getting that, so we can't fill it back up. Air filter, again, Nathan's getting one, so you can't put it back in. Batteries checked, checked the coolant level. Phil said, I think he said last fall, that he feels something in the steering or the front drivetrain's a little messed up. Well, let's see. That seems like a lot of play for me, and that's not just a U-joint. I believe that's the crankcase bearing, the front crankcase bearing. That side moves. That's too much for my liking. Always compare it to the other side, and it moves a little bit, but not nearly. You can't hear it clunk like this side. So I'm gonna go on the computer and see if I can find A, the part, B, a video to see if it's something that we would even want to try. Because Mark wants to use this next week, so yeah, might be a big project. So I don't know how this is going to focus, but I came in here and just out of curiosity, I looked up 2012 Sportsman 850, what the four-wheeler is, just to see how much the bearing is. If that's the problem, I'm thinking it is. You can get the whole hub kit, $519.99. A little pricey. Or you can get just the bearing, $45. So that's still way a to be determined thing. Nathan doesn't even know what we're doing with it. As far as the front, doesn't even know exactly what's wrong, and frankly I don't either. I think it's the bearing. Phil just pulled in, so I'm gonna actually go grab him and talk to him and see what he thinks, because he's the one who noticed it. So once we get that determined, then we'll see.
Okay, so you guys remember how I left here to go and get oil and filters and stuff for this? Yeah. So it turns out Polaris, in their, you know, shady business practices, we're going to call it, they've made this stuff that you cannot buy anywhere else. And I'm sure somebody's going to argue with that, and you're probably right. I'm sure you can get something somewhere else, but it uses 2W50 oil. And I stopped at our auto parts store, and they're like, we've never heard of 2W50. We have some 5W50, or they could get 5W50. They didn't have it. And I said, well, that would probably be fine, but they couldn't get it quickly. And it was like $15 a quart. And I said, well, okay. And the spark plugs, they could cross, but they didn't have any, and they didn't have any in the warehouse. And so I was going to have to go and get them from Polaris as well. And the air filter, they could not cross. The number was no good to them. So that didn't do me any good. So they could have gotten me an oil filter. That one did cross, but turns out we're going to have to go to Polaris anyway, which I was trying to avoid because whatever. But I kind of have to make a seed delivery in the direction of our Polaris dealer anyway, so I guess we'll just go there. But that means this is going to sit like this for the rest of today and tomorrow, probably. Oh well. Alright, it's time for me to get this trailer loaded up for our afternoon delivery here. Brock's going to keep working on that a little bit, just putting some stuff back together that can go back together. And then he's going to grease our corn planter up and then finish my prescription maps there. So yeah, that's good. And then we'll just go stop at the Polaris place and buy what we need on our way home. I know I can order it online, have it shipped to me, but we're really going to be going sort of by the place anyway, so we might as well just stop and get it. Now, there's another one. Let's go. I think we got plenty of time. I need my computer, my iPad and my book with the addresses in it. Okay, so I'm still a half an hour early. I can't leave yet. Yeah, misjudged time a little. It's fine. We're loaded up and ready to go, but like I said, this guy we can't get till until 3:30, so we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. I did want to show you guys this. So this is that tank that we bought, right? And when Dad was getting it ready the other day, he was gonna send Rylan in here because we need to drill a hole and put a fitting in there. And Rylan gets to here and he says, "There's a light. Can you see it?" He's right. There's a light. Right there. That's a problem. So, anyway, when you come over here and you look, it's right there. There's a little hole in the tank. Dad called the company we bought it from. They said, we'll take care of it. They called the manufacturer. The manufacturer's been in touch with us. They're coming out on Wednesday next week to look at it, and we will see what they have to say. I'm also going to point out some of this kind of stuff where I know some of that's going to happen. There was a pretty significant gouge right here on this side, so we'll see what they have to say about it. But hopefully they'll get it taken care of and we can get it put in there because we're going to need it. We've still got to get 1034O in, starter fertilizer stuff, and that's what was going in this tank, so we need it ASAP. Brock got our planter greased. I don't know, did he show you that? Maybe he showed you that. Whatever. Anyway, it's time to go. Again, now, finally. We had a little powwow in the office there, chatting about stuff. All good. We're in good shape. We just need it to start warming up and drying out. The forecast gets better and better the longer we get over, after the weekend. It's supposed to be in the 60s for the rest of the 10-day, but there's a bunch of rain scheduled for next week, so we're still a ways off on field work, but it's starting to warm up, nice and gradual, slow. It's good. Well, we made it back from that delivery. I got the stuff we needed for the four-wheeler. I'm gonna run that down to the farm. It's in that bag over there. Warehouse is getting emptier. I don't know how well it shows up, from you guys, but if you go back to the first couple of videos when we were delivering seed and see how far those stacks came out compared to where we're at now, we've made a lot of progress. So I would love to say that we're towards the end of it. Unfortunately, we've still got a fair ways to go yet, but the bulk of those boxes go to one guy. So we're going to keep trying to knock at some stuff here as the weather allows. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to try and treat some beans. I've got a bunch of family home this weekend, my sisters and stuff, so we'll see how much I can get done. But I would love to get all the stuff in the lean-to over there treated this weekend if possible. And I'm trying to line up a delivery for Monday morning before I have Eclipse stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And then, the weather later in the week and how all that cooperates. But I got a few guys that I can deliver some stuff to, and then a few of these warehouse guys' orders have changed in the last week. That's really throwing me off because I was ready to go take stuff to them, and now they're adding stuff or changing it, and it just makes it difficult because now I don't have it all, or we've got to wait for some more stuff to get shipped in, and the shipping is like they texted me today wanting to send some more stuff, but it's not going to come until Thursday next week. Well, I need it before that, so we'll see we'll see. We'll get there. It's fine. It's plenty wet. It's not getting into fields anytime soon, but I'm getting a little nervous about how we're going to get all this done between now and when I've got to be in the fields. Of course, I say that I'm going to treat all those beans this weekend. There's also a part of me that says maybe tomorrow morning would be a good time to spread our clover seed because, yeah, it's supposed to be kind of cold in the morning, which isn't a bad thing. It's not dry by any means, but we've had a couple of days for the water to soak in before it starts raining again on Sunday or Monday. And it's going to start warming up, and we've kind of missed our frost seeding window. Like, it should be done by now, and we didn't get it done. So, it needs to happen ASAP. All right, well, I dropped that stuff off there. I guess there wasn't much going on here. So, thanks for watching this one. Have a great weekend. I may or may not see you tomorrow via live stream if I'm treating, or maybe I'll make a video spreading clover seed on the wheat if that's what we're doing. So we'll see. Otherwise, Eclipse Day on Monday. I might try and make a delivery in the morning, and then I'm going to do my best to film what I can for the eclipse. Although I was reading stuff today about how you got to have filters for your cameras, and it's going to ruin stuff. I'm like, I have filmed the sun with my cell phone before just fine. Like, I don't think it'll matter. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll wreck my cameras. Whatever. We'll try it. See what happens. It probably won't be any good. There'll be lots of better stuff out there, I can assure you, but it's going to be cool. So, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Oh, well, I got something to show you. Have you guys gone over to Farm Focus yet and checked out the new shirt designs? They're pretty cool. I really like them. This is the blue one. I wore the red one. There's a maroon version a week or two ago and showed you, but this is the blue. That's pretty awesome. Kind of designed after the emblem or the sign that Dad put on the front of our old pig barn, the hip roof barn back at the farm there. So go check them out. FarmFocus.com. Link in the description. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody.